し生まれ変わったらその時はさ Welcome back, loves. Today we are reading a Katsuki Bakugou X listener. This one is titled Last Words. I wrote this story and now I kind of want to make it a series, but let me know what you guys think. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Katsuki Bakugou, your rival, the person you admired and wanted to beat. It had been the same since the beginning of the school year. Though you had never actually fought Bakougo before, you had partnered up with him in the hero vs. villain game in the first month of school. You clashed heads about it after losing to Midoriya and Ochako, but ultimately decided to agree to disagree. Nevertheless, you knew how amazing of a hero in training he was. You could also tell he worked hard and that his strength not only came out of his mouth, he could back it up, whatever he said. This is what you admired about him, and this is what led to your eventual feelings towards him. You both had respect for one another, though you'd never admit to it, and though you dismissed it, it wasn't because you were clueless, it was because you knew the outcome if it went sideways. You did not want to go through the pain of rejection again. Everyone knew of your feelings for Bakougo. It was obvious how you felt about the angry-issued boy, with two exceptions, Bakougo himself and Todoroki. Once people told Todoroki, Bakougo was the only person left who had no idea about your feelings. You appreciated that no one had opened up about them in front of him or to him, but that didn't stop your friends from teasing you whenever you blushed or just whenever you two spoke to each other. It was a regular thing for you and Bakougo to clash heads, mostly for stupid things, but it did happen regularly, which meant your friends teased you regularly. You had a feeling, though, that the teasing would not stop after this match. It was the final fight of the day for you, and you had to go up against Bakougo. Yes, there before you was his name above yours. You stared at a piece of paper in front of you. It was conclusive that you would be the one to fight Bakougo today. You were sure to kick him off his high horse, and couldn't wait to see the look on his face when you eventually beat him. You stared at the piece of paper for a while. You examined his name and wondered how your name would sound with it. You looked around, making sure no one was listening to you before you tested it out. Ryan Bakougo. You smiled at the full name. Aw, already thinking of marriage. You heard Mina call from behind. You shuddered at the thought of anyone, let alone Mina, hearing you test out the name. No, I have no idea what you're referring to. You lied, your head down. Well, I just came to wish you good luck, you liar. She teased. Oh, whatever, Mina. You shouted, waving your fist in the air. Mina giggled and hurried off towards her seat with the other members of your class. You smiled, then looked back to what had caught your attention earlier. You hummed out, walking over towards the poster and running your index finger along Bakougo's name. You reminisced at the thought of him actually proposing. No, that's so geeky, Ryan. He'd have to be your boyfriend before he proposed. And we both know that's something that's never gonna happen. You whispered quietly under your breath. You huffed out loud and were about to walk away when you felt the arms of a person trapping you inside a human-made cage. Your friends would have loved this. They always did have a way of teasing. Oh, how you could hear it now. Oh, you'd be so cute together. You heard Yaoyazuru squeal. Right, I totally shipped them. Mina beamed. I also agree that they have feeling towards each other. Giro? So you added. You rolled your eyes when you focused on the matter at hand. What do you want, Katsu-chan? Just because we have a mutual respect doesn't mean we're friends, so cut it out with the nicknames. Sarcasm spread all throughout his voice, and if you could, you would have rolled your body to show him how much more you could care less. You flipped your body facing the ash blonde and looked up to meet his eyes. Katsu-chan, if for whatever reason you win, I want you to bring roses to my burial, okay? You smiled innocently. Bakougo brought himself down to your eye level and smirked. Sure. Would you prefer red or black? Katsu-chan, no matter what you say, I will beat you. Sure, but I have a lot of doubt. He almost backed away, setting you free, but clearly decided against it, as he had something else he wanted to say, though before the words could leave his mouth, a man came from around the corner and spoke. Guys, the matches will be starting soon. He observed the positions you were in and cleared his throat, continuing the sentence he had left short. If you need a couple of minutes, please make it quick. What? No, you've got the wrong idea. You tried to shout to the man who was already many feet away. You sighed and returned your focus on the person in front of you. As I was saying, Princess, if you beat me, I'll owe Deku an apology. That cocky, huh, Katsu? You asked with your own smirk covering your face. Very. He replied. Bakougo was walking into a room, with you not too far behind. Good luck, Katsu-chan. You'll need it. You winked. Right back at you, Princess. You rolled your eyes. You always have to have the last word, huh? Yep. Oh my god, he is so annoying. You both eventually parted ways. A man directed you towards a dungeon-like cell, shutting the doors behind you. It was dark for a while before the gate in front of you rose. As you waited for your cue, you went through your mind trying to find something to take your mind off the fight you were about to be sent into. You didn't know how it looked from the outside of the cell, but from your point of view, you thought you looked like an animal getting paid to do tricks in a circus. It was rather a fun idea to think about, but your mind quickly shut down once you heard your name being called. It was your cue to walk out. YNLN, Midnight calmly restated in her mic. You walked out onto the field and waved at your classmates who were in the stands watching you. Some gave a considerate expression, feeling bad that you had to go up against Bakougo of all people, and some, like Midoriya, gave you a bright smile. Ochako raised a good luck thumbs up out at you. You thanked them and waited for your enemy to come out of his caged cell. Katsuki Bakugou, Midnight said once more into her mic. Your crush walked out slowly, but almost immediately met your gaze, sliding you a cocky grin at that. Midnight read the rules from a piece of paper in her hand, and once she finished, she looked at you and Bakougo, saying you needed to shake hands in agreement to the rules. Bakougo outstretched his arm, and you snatched it, pulling him close and whispering a tiny threat. I'd start practicing that apology if I were you. Bakougo smirked at your comment and dragged you further into him. Count your seconds, Princess, because the clock ain't stopping. You were about to fire another comment when Midnight interrupted you. You huffed out loud, earning a cheeky laugh from Bakougo. The two of you backed up from one another, taking your places on either side of the playing field. Once Midnight blew the whistle, you swiftly jumped into action, Bakougo following suit. Bakougo had his arms outstretched, reaching for anything and everything. The cement beneath your feet crumbled into rocks and minerals. All around you, fog floated, creating the perfect opportunity for you to initiate your plan. You picked up a piece of cement that Bakougo had blown up, throwing it into the air. A couple of minor seconds passed before you jumped up as well. You pushed the rock back down to the floor, creating the puff of smoke to disappear. Once it did, you clearly saw Bakougo and aimed to strike down. Though once you saw he had his arms open ready to blow you up, you thought it would be best to avoid tackling him to the floor and instead aiming for the spot next to him. Once you hit the floor, it didn't take long for Bakougo to start throwing punches. This landed you both in fits of punches, uppercuts, kicks, and basically anything and everything that was allowed. You stopped for a couple of seconds, both needing to catch your breath. Give it up, Katsu, you shouted, your hands planted on your knees. I told you it wouldn't be that easy. He grinned widely, knowing your stamina was running low. If you don't yield willingly, I'll make you. This time you rammed Bakougo into the cement. The heavy male underneath you was already agitated to the point where his blood flow was pumping like crazy. You knew you needed to act fast. Your eyes fell upon his as you lowered your face as he had before. And overall, you were kind of in the same position he had once put you in minutes before. The only difference now, he was the one in the human-made cage. Just try and do something, Princess. His voice was rugged and low, like when you first roll out of bed in the morning. The smoke dusted away from your crash landing, and everyone in the stands could see your figures perfectly. You asked for it. Your last statement was heard by everyone, but your actions were what caught everyone off guard. You leaned in and smashed your lips against the spiky porcupines. Really, it's better than it sounds, trust me. You pulled away and smirked at Bakougo's confused expression. Yes, you were going to get crap for it later, but if it meant you could beat Bakougo, then in your opinion, it was all worth it. It only took a few seconds for the ash blonde to come to terms with what had just happened. Once he looked up, he gave you a grin you would never forget. Embarrassment started to take over. You tried to pull away, but went face down into the gravel. Your face was nearly making out with the ground. In your right ear, you heard Bakougo speak. I'll always get the last word, remember? Your eyes widened and you forced your head back up. As soon as you met the blonde's red orbs, Bakougo pulled you in for another kiss. This one was much smoother and much softer than the one before. You scoffed and stood up. You helped Bakougo to his feet and started walking away. I know you know I used my last energy trying to pull that stunt off. Don't forget your crown. You cheeky bastard. You stopped and glared at the porcupine one last time before getting fed up with his childish behavior. Bakougo bowed, saying, Right, I'm sorry, Your Highness. Your energy was almost enough to knock him out again, but you decided against it, so you just stuck your tongue out and finished your walk outside of the stadium. As your gates closed from behind you, you could hear Midnight squealing over how cute you guys were. You couldn't lie. You smiled at the thought of people thinking you and Bakougo were dating, and that's when you realized it. Bakougo did in fact treat you differently. Yes, he had respect for you, which is more than you could say for anybody else in the classroom, but the way he just kissed you, you couldn't really put your finger on it. However, you knew you would have to get him back for it. As you walked into a large room, greetings came from every one of your friends. You already knew you were going to get teased, so it didn't really surprise you when Mina and the rest of your girl squad had plenty of pictures and videos of you and Bakougo kissing. Ochako had both a picture of the first kiss that you landed on Bakougo and the second one that he pulled you into. Don't worry, I'll get my revenge. You smirked evilly. Okay, so again, I am sorry for the late post, but we're here everyone. Bro, soccer practice today, my legs hurt, my legs hurt so much. And you know, this just took my mind off it, but you know, like they're so sore, that's okay. We don't have practice on the weekdays, which is super dumb, but whatever. We have practice Monday through Friday, so I expect to see my fluffiness go down at least just a bit. I expect results, okay? I expect results. Yeah, okay, bye loves.